The topic today is from idea to an invention concept. You see, sometimes you have idea in your head, that's the way it goes. Now, if you look at my t-shirt, you will see my name of it. I don't brag about ice cream, but it's just a short story that a young man from where I am from, when they emigrated to the US and started at the beginning of the 20th century an ice cream company in New York City. Okay, he was very resourceful, and 4 years ago sold that ice cream brand, Dreyer or Dryer, which is 80 east of the Mississippi. He sold it to Nestle for $6 billion, with a B, $6 billion. And it was a small idea which started by Rocky Road ice cream flavor. Okay, so while I was reading, I was reading the Bible sometime, and I was reading Ephesians 17 to 19, and what you see there, suddenly they were talking about width, length, depth, and height. And I said, what's going on? We are in a three-dimensional world, and there they use these 4 words, and I look at it and I said, wow, width, length, depth, and height, that's 4 dimensions. And I check with mathematician, and I was told it's an hypercube. Oh, I said, what is an hypercube? That's very interesting. So that's an hypercube. So I went to my research, and I found that an hypercube for the scientist in you is called a tesseract. And a tesseract is something in 4 dimensions you cannot see, which is made of 8 cubical cells, what you see here. Okay? But we are living in the 3 dimension, you see. That's my flesh, 3 dimension. But that tesseract, I cannot see it. That tesseract is in another world, in the 4-dimensional world. Now, to make sure you understand all of that, and you will refresh your memory when I am finished, we will attach all these slides in the blog, so you will know and understand what it is. So I go back to the tesseract, and my further study, I said, well, I cannot see it in 4 dimensions, okay? But if I unfold my tesseract in 3 dimensions, what do I get? A cross in 3 dimensions, okay? And I said, oh, that is very interesting, and maybe we could do something about it. So, the idea came, and the idea was to take 8 cubes and unfold these 8 cubes in a cross, just by adding some articulation, something very simple. And came the idea of a 3-dimensional puzzle, we call a 3D puzzle. So I was not going to use cubes like that or something, try to solve it. I tried to solve it on paper, on PowerPoint. And so what I did on PowerPoint, it took me a couple of days to do. I made and I simulated the puzzle on PowerPoint until I was successful to identify the articulation. It was a very difficult job, and I solved it. And I said, now I have my idea on paper. And from there, I said, now I have a concept. I have an invention concept. 8 cubes, articulated, and they make a cross. So I went to the store, and I purchased wooden cube, you see, it's very expensive wooden cubes. And I decided to make and build a prototype. You see, the prototype is articulated, and since it is a prototype, you see a bunch of numbers on it. I solved the puzzle. That's the one I describe on the piece of paper. And I have number on it because I have to remember what are the face of these various cubes. And I said, well, it will be neat if I make one in glass also. So I made one with cube made of glass, you see. Now, what is very interesting, I was living in New York when I decided to make one on glass, and I know on Canal Street, where you could buy the fake Gucci, the fake Vuitton and everything, they sell glass and some material also. So I went over there to buy some cubes made of glass. I needed 8 cubes. And I went to the store and I asked the clerk, do you have a cube of that size, small cube? And the clerk said, yes, I have. So go to the bin. And I went to the bin, and on the bin they had 7 cubes, that's all they had. And I said, yeah, what about the red one? And the clerk said, very simple, we have a bin with red cubes. And I went over there, and they had 1 left. So I purchased the 7 and 1. I went home, took Scotch tape, and I made the invention with it, just as a prototype. So, what I have done, as you see, we have built that cube, that puzzle, etc. But I won't tell you more today. If you want to know more about it, go to the website, okay, www.hypercubeoflove.com, and you will see we have 2 books. One is a complete book there, and the one is an abridged book where you could see all the detail. But hang on, next time we will see how to prototype the invention. And that will be very fascinating because we have used paper, scissors, and cutboard, and glue. And that's it for today. See you next time.